The bond between Rupert and Emma and myself is pretty unique because there is an understanding that nobody else in the world knows quite what it's like to go through all of this from a young age and go through this mad, surreal, wonderful world for 10 years. And so I think, yeah, I mean, we will always have that tie that binds us together. I'm fairly certain of that. But also, as you say, we've grown up on set together. I mean, Rupert and I just laugh all the time together. He's one of the funniest people that I've ever met. You know, and I feel very fortunate to spend so much time with him. And Emma and I, I'd like to think we stimulate each other intellectually, and we there was kind of some intellectual sparring that we went over for quite. I mean, we're quite a good foil for each other because we're both super opinionated and fairly articulate, and we both like to make our points very, very clearly. So we would have some kind of great debate on set, and Rupert would just be like standing between us, going, "Oh, shut up, guys, please!" like just who cares? But me and Emma would get like very, very into it. But it was great, and she's a smart cookie, so like I had my work cut out for me. For me, the bond that the people I'm closest with on set are in the crew. Mainly for the reason that, you know, even though Rupert and Emma are obviously filming a lot, and as are all the young cast, but, you know, I'm the only one that's there every day, and the crew are the only other people that are there every day, so it would be them that I gravitate to, because we are the two kind of consistent things on set that we're always there. So yeah, I'd say that on that last day, there were a couple of people that I couldn't actually say goodbye to because it was just too upsetting. So we just said, we'll see each other soon, we'll go off and, you know, work together again. But like, I'm not going to say goodbye because there was a couple of people where I would have just torn me apart to say goodbye to them. On the final day, I just wanted to say thank you to everybody, but not just thank you. It was because, you know, in a very real sense, I do love them, you know, in the way that you love a family, in the way that you love people that are there and that have been there to support you every day for 10 years. I mean, so yeah, it was, and it's not just a feeling of love and sadness, but it's also huge respect for what they do, because the crew, I do think, you know, I was at a young age spoiled, and I've had, you know, some of the best crew technicians in the world that I've been working with from the age of 10, from the age of 11. You know, I mean, it's mind-blowing to me, and so to have been able to watch them work for 10 years was a huge privilege. You know, as you say, we have kind of been forced into a period of mourning for the last 3 years. It wasn't something we thought about a huge amount while we were filming, because when you're on an 18-month shoot, you can't go. It seems like it's never going to end, so you don't think like that. So, but yeah, over the course of the last year, particularly, everyone's been saying, "Well, it really is all over now, and you've stopped filming, and it's done, and the last one is now out," which I can't believe. And so yeah, I mean, it has been a very, very long goodbye, but it's today. This is, I think, my last on-camera interview for Potter, yeah, I mean, I'm sure I'll miss playing Harry very, very much, and I'm sure I'll miss, you know, I'm sure I'll miss the press, doing press for Harry more than I think I will, because I have been talking about him for a long time now. But yeah, I mean, it's just quite surreal. I can't really believe that it is finally over. But I think there was one of the French King Louis, I'm not sure which one because I lose track after a certain point, his last words were, he turned to all the people around him and said, "Why are you crying? Did you imagine I was immortal?" And it's that same thing of like, it had to end sometime, and we may as well just celebrate it rather than getting too sad. Yeah, I'm on Broadway at the moment, singing and dancing. I don't think of myself as being a song and dance man. I think of myself as an actor who's doing a musical, and so has had to become ever, you know, relatively proficient in certain disciplines in order to get by in that world. Yeah, I mean, I'm having a fantastic time, and it's an incredibly fun show, and I get to work with incredibly fun people, which means that I just get to have play and have fun every night. So it's great. Even when it's a slowish show and it's feeling long and hard and your body's tired, you know, John Larroquette kind of gets you through because he's so funny and he changes stuff up all the time, and like he's a joy. I've got a film coming out next year called The Woman in Black, which comes out over here on January 20th. I'm very, very excited for people to see it. I think it's a supernatural thriller, and it's very, very scary. I think people are going to see a kind of a different side of me, I hope, and you know, I'm playing a father, and I kind of cheated a little bit there because I got my godson to play my son in the movie, so there's already kind of a natural bond between the two of us because I've known him since he was, I think, 1. Yeah, so I mean, it's a great film, and it's made by one of the people who I think will be a big name in British cinema in the next few years, which is a guy called James Watkins. I think he's one of the most talented people I've ever worked with, one of the most talented directors I've ever worked with. He's very, very smart, knows exactly what he wants, tells story brilliantly, and has a is very proficient technically as well. So yeah, I mean, I'm very, very excited for people to see it. I think it's going to really scare people. There are so many people that I would love to work with. I mean, people who are doing, I mean, you know, people like the Coen brothers or Christopher Nolan, or people who just are doing really interesting, ambitious things in the movies that they make. You know, I thought Inception was not just a brilliant movie, but also one of the most ambitious films made in a long time. And for it to be that big a film as well, you know, you must have a lot of confidence to know that you can make that film for that budget and make it a huge success, which it was. So, you know, people like that I'd love to work with. There's lots of actors I'd like to work with. You know, I mean, Robert Downey Jr. is somebody I look at and go, God, you're brilliant. So I don't know, people like that, I'd really like to, I mean, and in terms of people from my generation, like, I'd love to work with people like Andrew Garfield or Jesse Eisenberg. You know, I mean, there's just so many exciting young actors around at the moment. It's kind of brilliant. 19 years from now, I hope to be with my wife and kids, and I hope to be directing by then as well, was what I'd love to do, you know. I mean, acting as well, but you know, directing's the thing I really want to get into in the next, you know, 10 years or so. I would love to, you know, just start working on that and learning. I mean, I've learned so much from the people I've got to work with that I want to, and it's given me a real passion for films and also being on a film set, so that's what I want to do ultimately. I think people are always kind of pretty amazed by how ordinary we all are. I mean, I think people have an image of actors or anyone who's in the public eye as that when you meet them, they're either going to be horrible or very intimidating, and I don't think I'm any of those things. I think I consider myself very, very boring and very, very normal. And so yeah, I mean, I guess that would probably be the thing that surprises people the most, is that there's not much about me that's that surprising.